My name's Abigail Golden. I'm a Ph.D. student at Rutgers University. My training is in ecology, so the way that animals and plants interact with their environment. But I'm really interested in understanding how humans are part of ecology and part of ecosystems as well. So my work is mostly on fish and fisheries, and specifically on the Mongolian endemic species Taimen, which is the largest species of salmonid in the world. And it's interesting not just because it's a really big fish and a really ancient fish, but because it's a really valued fishing target here in Mongolia and in the Western world as well. So my work has ranged from understanding what brings people to Mongolia to fish for taimen recreationally and catch and release it, to trying to track their movement patterns in the rivers that they inhabit. I came to Mongolia for the first time in 2017. I started graduate school and my PhD program in 2016, and I came in to work with Dr. Olaf Jensen at Rutgers, knowing that he works in Mongolia and knowing that I wanted to move outward a little bit from the ecology that he's been doing for the past 10 years and start to understand the human dimensions and the human relationships to nature as well. So he and I started talking about that as soon as I started grad school in fall of 2016. I made my first trip here in the summer and fall of 2017 and then came back this past summer in 2018. And I've been working on a different aspect of this question ever since. Yeah, so I came into graduate school knowing that I wanted to understand this dynamic here in Mongolia where people are starting to fish more and more and people are coming from abroad to fish as well. And there's also a lot of environmental change happening with climate change and with environmental impacts like dam development and mining. So the area that I work in is the Abigail watershed, and there's a proposed hydropower dam that would block off a large portion of the Abigail River and make it into a very large hydropower dam and a lake and a reservoir. One of the motivations for the work I'm doing is understanding how taimen, this really rare, large, charismatic species, might be affected by this development. I did my undergraduate degree at Columbia, where I majored in ecology and environmental biology. And I spent a lot of time in undergrad trying to find a balance between this interest in the natural sciences and ecology and biology and an interest in human behavior and humanism. And I discovered that there are a lot of areas of understanding the human dimensions of wildlife management and of wildlife dynamics, and those are especially salient and important and urgent in fisheries, which are a really, really important source of food, of profits, of recreation and human well-being, and can be very sensitive to human activity. So that I became interested in understanding fisheries as this multifaceted way of investigating how humans and ecosystems feedback and interact with each other. So I work with a number of partners here in Mongolia. I work with the Taimen Conservation Fund, which is based here in Ulaanbaatar, which is a environmental nonprofit that works on trying to develop and enforce good fisheries management regulations and conserve taimen. I work with Dr. Bud Manseichen at the Mongolian National Academy of Sciences and the Institute of Geoecology here, who's also a fish biologist. And I've worked with Sweetwater Travel Company, which is a tourist company that brings foreigners to Mongolia to fish for taimen. So I work with a lot of different stakeholders and have found those relationships to be very valuable, and I could not do the work that I do without them.